and welcome to today's episode of Franchise Friday. So glad to have you. Shout out to all of our listeners out there. And I am Marissa Peng. I'm the member relationship strategist here at the Entrepreneur Source. And I am so excited to be joined by not just one, but two fabulous other individuals. So I have with me here Marissa Frois, CEO of the Entrepreneur Source, and Brandon Breath, one of our beloved TES coaches who's out of New Orleans, if I said that correctly. So hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, it's good. I'm very honored to be on a podcast with you, Mel. I've been wanting to for a long time, so thank you for having me. This is exciting.
We can make it a tradition. We can do that. Welcome, Brandon. How are you?
I'm excited to be here as well. So I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Likewise. So we just got back from Vegas. We got back from the International Franchise Association convention, and it was a phenomenal event. It was awesome. So we're going to get into a little bit about the perspective, what we thought. There was a very special event that we also want to discuss here. But before we begin, I'd love to give the audience a little bit of an introduction to both of you. So Marissa, I'll start with you. If you want to give a little bit about you, your background, your role here at the Entrepreneur Source.
Yeah, no, thank you. So I started at TES about 12 years ago, and I've done literally a little bit of everything over that time. So I've worked on the member side for a little bit. For a good chunk of those 12 years, I was in the marketing and digital innovation roles, so really helping our franchisees put their best foot forward when it comes to marketing, their websites, their social media presence, just really interacting the best way with our seekers and clients. And then for the last year or so, I've moved into the role of CEO, so really overseeing daily operations of the company and everything else in between. So it's been a really fun 12 years, and I've enjoyed just getting to know the world of franchising, working with our franchisees, hearing our client success stories. So it's been fantastic.
There is never a dull moment here at the Entrepreneur Source, which is awesome,
that's true.
which we love.
Yeah.
So thank you. And again, love having you here with us today. And Brandon, I would love to get a little bit of your background, where you were before the Entrepreneur Source, and anything else you want to share?
Sure. Well, I've been with the Entrepreneur Source almost 4 years. Mm-hmm. Before that, I had 25 years in traditional big box retail, 10 years in store operations and about 15 years in multi-unit leadership. Like Melissa said, I'm based out of New Orleans, so I've always kind of operated in the southeastern part of the United States. But I made that move from retail into more traditional corporate American healthcare, and I was there for about 3.5 years, beating my head against the wall every single day because it was absolute misery. And there was a moment in time, and I distinctly remember when my phone rang, and it was someone from the Entrepreneur Source saying, "Hey, do you want to have a conversation, explore something different?" I'm like, absolutely, because I am miserable. And so I went on the journey and went through discovery. And as my chance to get to say this is, one of the most memorable presentations in my discovery day. So when I went to the Entrepreneur Source to really explore this as a final possibility for myself, it was Marissa's presentation on what she was doing around marketing and how she was taking the company in kind of new direction. And so I just get to say this, Marissa, you were one of the people that I said from a corporate partner, she's really got it going on and knows what she's doing, and was just so dynamic. And so that stuck with me then, and getting to spend more time with you and get to know you better and watch you rise within the Entrepreneur Source since I've been here has been really gratifying from my perspective. So it's been absolutely.
Well, and that's it, guys. That's all we needed. No, I love this. And seriously, just two such great individuals who I think embody the Entrepreneur Source to the highest degree. So thank you both for everything that you do for the Entrepreneur Source, the coaches, the seekers, the team. And again, we'll get into
I didn't know I need tissues today. Thank you,
convention
Brandon.
that we were all at. But it was just amazing to just see everyone operate in their natural kind of ability and it's a one giant love fest over here at the Entrepreneur Source. Okay, everyone, I'll just tell you that much. So we have Brandon and Marissa here again. We were at Las Vegas. We were in Las Vegas for the IFA convention. So let's dive into what that was like, what that experience was like. And again, it was an amazing event. And I'm not just saying that. It's a place for, it's kind of the main event in franchising. It happens once a year, and it's a place for franchisors, suppliers, franchisees, friends of franchising to all come together and really share best practices, knowledge, things that we've learned over the past year, struggles, and also just network and actually see each other, meet each other, talk to each other in person. And we always leave with exhausted, yes, but also feeling such a high almost, just seeing the industry, the franchising community come together like that, and you really feel energized after that. So it truly is a phenomenal event. But I would love to hear about the event and your takeaways from each of your perspectives. And I'll start with you, Marissa, as CEO of the Entrepreneur Source and attending and different sessions and all the different things. I would love to hear your thoughts.
The breakouts, all the fun stuff, which I'll get into in a minute, but you definitely leave there feeling a high, which I'm still feeling today. So it was great. But first, I thought I'd kick it off, and I'm sure everyone that's listening in knows what the IFA is, but for those that don't, I figured I'd just do a quick explanation about what is the IFA. So the IFA stands for the International Franchise Association. It's the world's largest membership organization for franchisors, franchisees, and also for franchise suppliers. They provide industry-leading events. Of course, this convention probably being the biggest one that they have, but they also provide advocacy, education, growth opportunities to the franchise community. And their mission is to protect, enhance, and promote franchising. So just a little bit about what the IFA is all about. But going back to the convention itself, I believe they said while we were there, it was a record year for attendance. There were 4,000 people in attendance, which was awesome. So there were a ton of individuals there, definitely a high. The event took place from February 26th through March 1st. So we had a few days out in Vegas together. But for us, so we actually got to participate in the leadership conference, which kind of kicked off the event for us. And that was hosted by the Women's Franchise Committee. And that was just a great way for us to kick off that event. So we got to meet some new people. We were actually a sponsored as part of that event. So that was great. We got to sponsor the lunch there, which we were really pleased to be able to do. But the flow of that was really great. So they had some roundtables happening there. We had a specific use case that we were given, and we had to really put on our thinking caps and act as if we were the owner of a specific company and just talk through some different strategies and things that we would do to help evolve a certain company. And then at the end, they revealed what that was. So for me, that was a really, really great part of the IFA, just being part of that and being able to sponsor that event. So that was wonderful. Above and beyond that, everything else was also so great. So some really great networking time throughout the event. So again, we got to see a lot of our franchise friends there, but we made a lot of new connections as well. Great keynote sessions. So just looking at my notes for some of the highlights for me. So first and foremost, we heard from the IFA's president, Matt Holler, which is always great. He shared some great industry statistics there, where the world of franchising is going, some information that we could then take back and share with our own franchisees, which was great. But they had Chris Kempczynski, CEO at McDonald's, John Payton, CEO at Dine Brand. So Applebee's, IHOP is part of that. They had some really great presentations just talking about their brands, growth opportunities there, what they were doing with technology, and just a lot of what's happening in the franchise world, what we need to be aware of, and some shifts that they're seeing. So we certainly got to hear from some great leaders in the franchise space. They had Drew Brees on stage, which I'm not a football fan, but I know a little bit about him. But he did a great job. So he himself is a franchisee. He's very involved in the franchise community. So it was really nice to hear his perspective on things and how he got started. So overall, amazing. It was an awesome event. I was really glad to be a part of it.
I know they really jam pack the event. Like by the end, again, you do leave exhausted, but there's so many different opportunities. And again, it doesn't matter really where you are as a like a franchisor, as a supplier, if you're there as a franchisee, which Brandon will get your perspective on that too. But there's different tracks of like education. If you're specifically emerging brand or you're really looking to do operations, they have great topics.
The sessions were great.
Yeah,
the education sessions were great too.
So just high quality content and value from that. And again, I just want to underline the annual leadership conference. If anyone has a chance to attend, it's just really great. And you get a lot of the like-minded people in the same room, and you really get to connect with them like before the event begins.
Yeah.
So that's always a highlight for me too.
Yeah. And so I saved the best for last. The most exciting part, hands down, was watching our very own Brandon Breth be honored as one of the IFA's Franchisee of the Year recipients. So what I wanted to do before I hand it over to you and get your feedback, not only on what the award meant to you, but just your experience at this year's IFA, is I just wanted to let everyone know, again, the IFA's president, Matthew Holler, what he said about this award. So he said, Franchisee of the Year recipients represent the best in franchising. This is the highest honor IFA awards to individual franchisees, and these local business owners exemplify the power of franchising and its countless positive contributions to communities around the world. And I cannot think of anyone that would be better suited to receive this honor than you, Brandon. So what does it mean to you to have received that, and then get into your time at the IFA too, and your experience there?
Okay, so all right. So first, I got to say, pretty humbling to be recognized. And, it was pretty humbling to be recognized by my peers at our, conference late last year. And then to turn around and have that recognition elevated to a national level, it does feel very special. And, and really, as I shared with some of my own peer groups, the way that you all even put together the nomination by using quotes from other coaches about me and some of your comments about me made it very special, just in the fact that you all thought to nominate me for that recognition, and then receiving it and being noticed just feels fantastic. So I truly thank you for that. And I've already felt in the last few months since our conference, really wanting to do enough within our own organization to be worthy of that, that recognition. And I feel like that even more so, that I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing for my clients, but also for our organization and kind of giving back in general, because I really believe in what we do, and the validation of being recognized for doing it is terrific. So now I will say I do know who Drew Brees is, because
I didn't know who he was. I just, I didn't follow football a ton, so I just wasn't that familiar with him.
Well, it was really great because I knew, we knew here locally when he brought Jimmy John's into New Orleans that Drew Brees brought Jimmy John's in, and I knew walk on, before he invested.
Of course.
So, but hearing him talk about that was, really interesting, and the fact that he made it so personal about why he even got into brands, right? It wasn't necessarily a business decision as much as it was a personal thing. I want this, right? So I'm bringing it in. So that was a great perspective. I will say one of my big takeaways, though, was Chris, the CEO of McDonald's.
Yeah.
The fact that he talked about the state of franchising and how, there is a battle, right? And there's entities out there who really want to see franchising change, and because they don't understand it, and they don't understand what's happening and how wealth is being created for individuals all across the country, and then they're looking to take that away, whether on purpose or not. Ignorance is causing that. And I really liked his humility in as this CEO of this really massive organization,
Yeah.
his focus was up here on the federal level, and he was
Yeah.
totally missing what was happening at the state and local level. And seeing
Yeah.
that shift really makes me walk away going, what should I be doing as a franchisee to help spread the word, to help people understand? And even within our own group and our own organization, what should we be doing to make sure that people know that there are things they could take, steps they could take to help educate others in this space. Um, the other thing for me, which I thought was really interesting, was getting to work on the floor with Melissa and Eric and getting to talk to franchisors that necessarily you don't know the Entrepreneur Source or affiliated with us, but hearing their horror stories about other, brokers and some other groups that are out there, and not like nobody named names. I didn't ask for names, but the general consensus was, it's what we talk about, right? These are people trying to get between someone and a transaction and insert themselves. And we are so totally different. And so getting to talk to other franchisors of all different sizes and levels about who we are and what we do, and doing it from my perspective as a coach working with clients that we bring into people, that was really great conversation. And I really got to see that light bulb go off for a few people. And so I really enjoyed, getting to do that, but it also gave me a lot of perspective on, as the class that we may fall into, how even we can be misunderstood within this industry. And we need to continue to drive the message of how we're truly different, right? And how we treat people different, and how we're open to talk to people that other people wouldn't talk to, right? And so I can think of my own clients that never thought about being a business owner when we first talked, and today they own a business. And which really, one of my other takeaways is, if I go back, and one of the themes was about diversity. And if I go back to my retail days, the guy running a district out of New Orleans in a fairly conservative part of the country had the most diverse leadership team of any district in the organization. And I got recognized for that all the time, because it's just people are people, right? And if you judge people for being people, you're going to put a good team around you, right?
Yeah.
Franchising does that. And I hadn't really thought of it in those terms, but then they really talked about the fact that franchising allows people of any race, any background, any socioeconomic standing to get into business and do something for themselves. We don't necessarily celebrate that enough. And I feel pride in that, and with my own clients who have helped get into business, but seeing that as an industry that we do that, again, education around how special it is being part of this world of business ownership through franchising is very exciting, very rewarding. So I walked away from it feeling really fantastic about what I do every day, where I'm taking my own life and trying to, be a business owner. And I got to sense, I didn't do a certain track. I just sat and popped in on different sessions and different, tracks. And every conversation I got to be a part of was just fantastic. Hearing different people's perspectives, I think, will help me also, just as I'm talking to clients, sharing some of that knowledge that I've learned, and help them really understand what their future could look like.
I love all of those things so much. I wrote down a bunch of stuff, and I even down to the part of at the IFA, it's just a great chance and opportunity to see what the franchising community looks like, because I think we're part of the Entrepreneur Source, so we're in our Entrepreneur Source world, and we do all the great things we do. We work with clients, we're introducing them to our franchisor members, helping them get to points of clarity, whether that is business ownership or not. But then even you look bigger picture, okay, franchising industry, all right, that's a bigger picture. You're looking at diversity, you're looking at helping people change their lives and realize their dreams. But then even within the franchising industry, we live in this world. It's part of who we are. But think of all the people, and Brandon, you do this every day, who don't know the benefits of franchising. And it's okay if it's not for everyone, but I love the fact of, being able to help educate even more, not just on the coach level, but from the Entrepreneur Source. What can we do more to educate about franchising and help people see all these different benefits and pros, and helping people regardless of gender, race, nationality, background, you can help someone get into business ownership and change the course of their future and the generations to come. So it helps like get everything into that big picture, which I love. And one other thing I wanted to say is I loved having Brandon with me at the Entrepreneur Source booth in the exhibit hall, because I'd be talking to the franchisor and they're like, yeah, Melissa, great, you know, love it. And then they talk to Brandon and they're like, oh my gosh, like where should I sign? No, they didn't say that, but it offered that different coach perspective. So thank you, Brandon. It was just, I just liked seeing it. It was awesome. It did change. You saw the light bulb go off.
Yeah. The one thing that was just coming to mind is, Brandon, I was hearing you talk about your experience at the IFA is, and we talk about franchising as, especially when you join a specific system, right? It has a system, you're going into business for yourself, but not by yourself. And so that is the benefit of joining a franchise system rather than doing it on your own. And for me, leaving the IFA, I realized that's our community there too, right? We're hearing from, you know, CEOs of great brands and organizations, and they're struggling with the same issues that everyone across the board can relate to. So you just really realize like that's your community, that's your franchise family, where we're sharing a lot of the same struggles that we're experiencing, how we could come together to shift things in a positive direction, and then some really great education sessions to help us be better franchisors, franchisees, franchise suppliers. So it's just nice to really reflect back and say, wow, that's our, you know, family, if you will, and community that we could lean on to learn from each other and, you know, go through this together, if you will. So that was really, really great.
Yeah. And look, I'll say at our conference, I certainly understand that, you know, Melissa and Eric and your team, you're bringing franchisors in for us to talk to. But being at this conference, whole different understanding of how there's my side, right? The coach's side, when we're really helping the client facing. And then, Melissa, there's your side, right? That's really franchisor focused. And it's even about helping those new franchisors be successful in creating their own business and starting their business. And so we really do, within the Entrepreneur Source, help people all up and down the franchise ecosystem, right? Which is really just exciting. And it's interesting for me to get to see that on a deeper basis.
Yeah.
Agreed. As soon as I just think like, how is it that this is what we get to do every single day? Not that we're at an IFA convention every single day, because that would get overwhelming, but just the fact that, to your point, Brandon, like we get to help people all throughout the franchising industry, community, and it's not just also outside of the franchise community, you know, and bringing them in. So it's very special what the Entrepreneur Source gets to do. So yeah, agreed on all of those takeaways. And I do want to say, just to final on this, but Brandon, on the Franchisee of the Year award, and then also Coach of the Year at our own conference back in October, you are already one of the most humble people I know, and just, you know, what anyone who knows you would say, it was nothing you were ever like striving for. And that's a big reason as to why I think you were just a natural, just naturally a recipient of that award. Is you're always doing things for your clients, for your seekers, and for the other coaches and, you know, franchisees in the Entrepreneur Source system. And now we're going to get ready to, you know, on behalf of franchising as a whole. So that was a very big highlight. So thank you for everything that you do. So I want to thank you guys so much for just great feedback, great thoughts and perspectives on that. And yes, it's a little windy here, so I don't know if you can hear that.
We're getting I don't know if you can hear it. We're going to get blown away.
That was on my end. I'm like, what is that?
Mel and I might just get like pulled up into a tornado. No big deal, but we're good.
If the third floor of this building just disappears, that's what it's going to be. But carry on without us, Brandon.
Yeah.
But I do want to wrap things up here just by looking into the future. And I think the Entrepreneur Source has really made a lot of great strides, especially in the past few years when it comes to the future of franchising and what does that look like, even how we work with our clients, how we approach education and discovery around business ownership, around franchising. And we've always been unique in the way that we approach those things. But especially in the past few years, I've seen great just strides in technology and approach and how we support our coaches, how our coaches are working together. But wanted to get from both of you, and I'll start with you, Marissa, just what does the next, actually, no, I'm going to start with you, Brandon. We'll finish up with Marissa. We're going to cut that part out. All right, so I'm going to start with you, Brandon, on when you look at, let's just say for the remainder of 2023 and then beyond, if you want to, what does that look like for you? And also, what do you see kind of the future as part of the entrepreneur source and in franchising? So a lot of big themes there, but the future from your perspective.
Well, so for the current time this year, and I think this is going to play out in the next few years because there's a shift from post pandemic, right? People getting back into work. There's a lot of people we know leaving their jobs, quitting their jobs, especially as they have to go back to work or back to the office, right? They don't want to do that. So I still think for us and what we do, the environment remains very healthy. Most people truly want to do something for themselves. There's natural fears that they need to look at and overcome and get coaching on, but they want to explore doing something for themselves. Where I've seen a little bit of a shift is more people doing things in addition to work and maybe not wanting to necessarily make the jump 100% into a business, but saying, okay, let's start something that is more semi-absentee or that I could do on the side, let it grow while I still maintain what my perception of stability is at the moment. And then as it starts to take hold, then I make the move. And so it's never a conversation around I want to work for someone else. It's how do I get to being self-sufficient? And it's different paths for different people, but I certainly see that shift of more people saying it's not either or, it's and so I've been pivoting to that with my clients, and I see that trend continuing. As far as what I see in franchising in general is, as for us as an organization, I do think and I'll say we need to be better educated around what's happening in the state of franchising as a whole, so that not only can we do our part to help and write letters or get involved or donate or whatever those things are that we want to do to help out, but how do we even help educate our clients into that and what that can mean for them as they're looking at this journey. And so I do think there's some opportunity for us there. But as yeah, and again, I think it was Chris with McDonald's, and only because I'm going to pronounce Kaminsky, I think wrong, but
I probably did.
On a first name basis.
but he said, imagine a world with no franchising. Nothing's a franchise, and I mean, I can imagine what that would look like. There'd be no standards anywhere, right? It'd all be mega huge companies that have a standard. There'd be all the individual owners be true mom and pop. The competition would be so outweighed that it would not even be possible for people to be successful in business. And so I think franchising, as long as we as an industry can continue to kind of educate people and hold back some of the things that are out there that don't make sense, I I think it'll continue to grow. I think more and more people see this as a good path on the franchisor and the franchisee side. So I see nothing but kind of blue sky and growth. And and for myself, after 4 years being in this industry, I've gotten so much information about franchising in general that it has me thinking about conversations with my children, my sister, my brother-in-law, right? Other family members. And I'm like, no, we need to talk about your future. And it's different and it's not what we thought it was going to be. So I find even within my own knowledge set, I'm looking at different possibilities for myself, for my family, for my future. And I think that's going to continue to grow as I continue on this journey with us.
fabulous. I amen to all the above. And it's just great to see. We always say, it's an evolution, not a revolution, because in my eyes, I'm like, let's do all the things right now. But it's been great to see progress on all those different fronts between us as the entrepreneur source and franchising as an industry, and continuing to be a part of the education and awareness around all those different things. And I'm the same. I'm like, anyone, if you're interested, I have full of success for you. Okay. If you want to learn, it's a safe space here. But, and then yes, Marissa, from your perspective and going off what Brandon said, what do you see for the future?
Well, first, yes to everything that Brandon just said. That was right on point. But one of the things that he was talking about was just the growth, and especially the shifts that I think people have experienced after the pandemic. People really realize that your job isn't as secure as you think it is, but also there's other ways for you to achieve your income, lifestyle, wealth, and equity goals than through corporate America, the flexibility piece and everything else that goes along with it. So for us, I would like to see TES coaching community grow. More high caliber coaches like that of Brandon, definitely, because the need is getting, bigger. I think there's no better time for TES than right now, just with the shifts that have occurred, in the world. So I'd like to see definitely our coaching community grow. TES to just have a bigger presence in the franchise community as a whole. So more of events, having a bigger voice, helping in any way that we can. And then just being able to get more knowledge from those different events to then share out with our own franchisees and beyond to their clients and beyond that. So definitely a bigger footprint in the franchise community. A more tactical piece, and the thing that comes to mind immediately, let's just say in 2023, is going to be more technology advancements for our company. So all the way around, I think, for our coaches, for our clients, and everything in between. So we spoke about the education piece. I think technology is growing in so many ways, and we can leverage that to better communicate and get education out to our clients and the way we interact and work with our coaches. So I definitely see, without giving everything away, technology advancements being a really big focus of ours, through the year, so that we're better reaching and communicating with as many people as we can.
So watch this space, everyone. We'll be back with more, but thank you again. And I'll add on to that. When I look at the future, I agree, Marissa. I don't think there's ever been a better time to be in franchising and with the entrepreneur source. Just the people that we get to work with, again, the coaches and seekers, the coaching community, and then our own team. Across the board, just really high quality, high caliber people. And from my side, where I work with the franchisors, I really see us expanding into how we're able to help franchisors at different stages of growth. And especially, I have seen so many more new and emerging franchise brands come into the space, come into franchising. And there's a really big, I think, need to help these franchisors grow and grow the right way. And so for the rest of this year and beyond, I really see us being able to being a place where those people can come to get the help and grow in the way that's going to really set them up for success as they continue to get down the road and bring on their first franchisees and beyond. So only exciting things, you guys, all across the board. So thank you so much for joining me on the Franchise Friday podcast. Again, everyone, Brandon Breath, TES Coach and Franchisee of the Year, and Marissa Frois, CEO of the Entrepreneur Source. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brandon.